Yeah,
How concerned are you about the former president offering pardons to people who attacked the Capitol on January 6th? And because of his comments, does he have the moral authority to be president again?
Well, I can speak for myself. The election of 2020 was decided December the 14th of 2020 when the Electoral College certified the winner of the election. What we saw here on January the 6th was an effort to prevent the peaceful transfer of power from one administration to another, which had never happened before in our country. 165 people have pleaded guilty to criminal behavior. None of the trials have been finished yet, but 165 have pleaded guilty to criminal behavior. My view is I would not be in favor of shortening any of the sentences for any of the people who pleaded guilty to crimes.
UPS on Tuesday projected 2022 revenue above market expectations as it posted record annual earnings. UPS stock jumped 16% to a record high of nearly $234 a share as the company capped 2021 with double-digit revenue growth on the back of a continued surge in online shopping and labor shortages. Under CEO Carol Tomé, who took charge in June 2020 as the health crisis raged, the logistics giant adopted a, quote, better, not bigger strategy. It prioritized lucrative deliveries over volume and courted customers generating more revenue and profits, such as healthcare companies and small and medium-sized businesses, or SMBs. Business with Amazon.com, its largest customer, also notched a healthy jump. The e-commerce behemoth's contribution to UPS's total revenue rose to 11.7% in 2021, even as concerns lingered over Amazon's development of its own logistics network. Much like other industries, UPS and rival FedEx Corp have been grappling with supply chain challenges and rising Omicron cases among their staff. Still, it forecast a 2022 revenue of about $102 billion, above analyst estimates.
Toddlers are one step closer to a COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer and BioNTech on Tuesday said they have begun submitting data to U.S. regulators seeking emergency use authorization of their COVID shot for children under the age of 5. The submission follows a request from the FDA to address an urgent public health need in that age group, according to the companies. The FDA said a committee of expert advisors would meet on February 15th to discuss the authorization. Despite weaker than expected immune responses in Pfizer's clinical trial of 2 to 4-year-olds, the companies are asking the FDA to clear the shot as a 2-dose regimen. Each would be a 3 microgram dose, compared to 30 micrograms for people aged 12 and older. But Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla said in a statement that the company believes 3 doses of the vaccine will be needed for younger kids, quote, to achieve high levels of protection against current and potential future variants.
США вышли из договора по противоракетной обороне.
Russian President Vladimir Putin accused the U.S. and its Western allies on Tuesday of ignoring Russia's security concerns and deliberately creating a scenario designed to lure Russia into war. In his first direct public comments on the Ukraine crisis for nearly 6 weeks, a defiant Putin showed no signs of backing down from security demands that Western countries have called non-starters and possible excuses to launch an invasion.
We already can see that fundamental Russian concerns were ignored.
Russia is demanding that NATO halt any further enlargement, bar Ukraine from ever joining the alliance, and pull back forces and weaponry from Eastern European countries. Putin said Washington is not primarily concerned with Ukraine's security, but with containing Russia.
That is the problem. In this context, Ukraine is just a tool to reach this goal. It can be reached by various means, by drawing us into a military conflict and making their European allies impose against us those tough sanctions the U.S. talks about today.
Russia has massed more than 100,000 troops on the Ukrainian border, and Western countries say they fear Putin may be planning to invade. Russia denies this, but has said it could take unspecified military action unless its security demands are met. Western countries have rushed to show solidarity with Ukraine. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Tuesday met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv and accused Putin of holding a gun to Ukraine's head to demand changes to the security architecture in Europe. He also warned that any Russian invasion would lead to a military and humanitarian disaster.
And there are 200,000 men and women under arms in Ukraine. They will put up a very, very fierce and bloody resistance. And I think that parents, mothers in Russia should reflect on that fact. And I hope very much that President Putin steps back from the path of conflict and that we engage in dialogue.
Zelensky, who has repeatedly played down the prospect of an imminent invasion, signed a decree on Tuesday to boost his armed forces by 100,000 troops over 3 years. He urged lawmakers to stay calm and avoid panic, saying he had ordered the troop increase, quote, not because we will soon have a war, but so that soon and in the future there will be peace in Ukraine.
Stocks finished higher for a third straight day after another choppy session on Tuesday, as trading reflected investor uncertainty about how to play the current market following a historically volatile January. All three of the major indexes started the first day of February in negative territory but bounced back. The Dow rose about 0.75%. The S&P and Nasdaq rose about the same following their largest two-day gain since April 2020. Michael Vogelzang, the chief investment officer at Cap Trust, says he expects more choppy trading in 2022.
The last 3 years, we've seen a return of 26 or 27% in the S&P 500 per year, almost a 90% return in the last 3 years in the middle of a pandemic. We think that's above average for sure, and we expect that to return to normal. We've seen that already in January with lower prices, more volatility, and frankly, acting a little bit more like a stock market should act.
The energy index remains by far the best performer of the major S&P sectors this year, as U.S. crude hovers near a 7-year high. The strong energy prices helped ExxonMobil post its biggest quarterly profit in 7 years. Shares jumped nearly 6.5% as a result. UPS was an even bigger winner, with shares finishing up 14% after the company projected this year's revenue above market expectations. Shares of AT&T fell more than 4% after the company said it will spin off Warner Media in a $43 billion transaction to merge its media properties with Discovery and also cut its dividend by nearly half. Google parent Alphabet ended higher before posting earnings after the bell. The search giant reported higher than expected fourth quarter sales as internet advertising, cloud computing, and its hardware businesses benefited over the holiday season from the growing surge in online shopping. Shares climbed higher in after-hours trading.